Hi, welcome to Yoga with Weights. So, a little bit about this class as far as what you need and what you can expect. So, I do not recommend this class for beginners because, in order to do yoga with weights well, you need to master your poses and that good form first. So, if you have not mastered the poses first, adding weights to your poses is not going to help your form. So I do not recommend this for beginners. Feel free to practice this without the weights a few times first. And then as you become comfortable, add the weights back in. Another thing here, I have two sets of weights. I'm not sure if you can see them very well, but my pink little hand weight here is 2 pounds. I have a set of these, so the other one is on the other side of this block. I also have a set of these purple 5-pound weights. And the reason why I have two is because when you're working smaller and larger muscle groups, you can do different weights with those. It also allows you to take the resistance up and take the resistance down. If you have not done yoga with weights before, I highly, highly recommend that you use lower weights in the beginning, get used to that, get used to the form. And then as you become stronger and more stable, then you can increase your weight as your need arises. Okay, so we don't want to do anything too heavy in the beginning. So I've got those. We will get a full body workout today. So we are going to work arms. We're going to work core. We are going to work the rear end and the legs here. So you can expect all of that. I'm also going to suggest a band or a strap, a belt, something like that, so we can get into some good stretching with the upper body and the legs towards the end of class. A couple other things you might need. If you're someone who sweats a lot, you might want to have a hand towel close by and perhaps a glass of water. So you see my water bottle there. I have a blanket in here. We actually will start seated, but the blanket can be useful if you need extra knee cushion when we're down on all fours or something like that. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to find myself in a nice comfortable seat. Good. And now I'm usually crisscross applesauce or some kind of like half lotus variation here. When I sit, you're welcome to do that. If legs forward, legs out to the side, sitting up on a block in hero's pose is better for you, then that is always acceptable. So from here, find that nice tall spine, ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Draw up from pubic bone to behind the navel or belly button into the spine. Just take a slight tuck in the chin. And we're going to breathe right here, expanding that rib cage on the inhale, slowly releasing on the exhale. And inhale and exhale. Good. Now, just in case I forget, I'm going to encourage you to use the Ujjayi Pranayama, that victorious breath, that ocean breath, which is or at least half of it. So you can inhale with it or without it. On the exhale, you want to make that ha, H-A sound, but you're forcing that air out through the nose. So it creates a little noise here. So now that I've got microphone now, we'll see if I can create that. And as I take that exhale, I'm drawing up and in, I'm engaging my abdominals just a little bit more. So I'm going to encourage you to take that breath now and throughout the rest of this class. So from here, let's prepare our spine, taking the fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, nice and tall. Turning the palms away, growing taller from crown to tail. And we'll go again. Palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Touching palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center, creating an intention for your practice before we get going here. You can always dedicate this to yourself, someone, or something. So this is a stronger practice. We're using weights, so maybe strength. is a good intention to have, whatever that means to you. And inhale, take it up and reach, reach, reach. Exhale, take it over to the left. As I take it over to the left, I'm really going to reach here. And I'm just remembering, I also forgot to mention blocks. So blocks, even in a yoga with weights class, you can use this as a lighter weight, some resistance, but it can also help with stability when we're doing different transitions. Good. So you can stay here. You can side bend deeper. You can open towards the ceiling, or you can find that C curve roll, belly button in the direction of the knee, but not touching. Breathe and expand. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come back. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale. Exhale, take it right into the other side. Good. Just get that nice side bend. Sits bones stay grounded. And then you can decide to stay here. You can side bend deeper. You can open towards the ceiling, or you can take that C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching. And then inhale and lengthen. Exhale, coming back out. Reach, reach, reach. And taking the arms down. Good. So to prepare for twisting, we're going to take hands behind the head, press the head into the hands, elbows out wide, but not necessarily the widest. We just don't want to have them tucked in here. So I'm coming back to that nice tall spine again. I'm going to draw up and in. I'm going to inhale to my left and exhale to the right. So this is kind of a flowy twisty. Inhale, exhale. Now you're going to see me close my eyes here. You're free to do the same thing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale to the left. Maybe you can release those arms, taking them longer. Maybe you want to bring those hands down, rolling that back shoulder a little bit more behind you. Keeping expansion in the rib cage, so no cranking. Good. Inhale and lengthen, arms out, hands back behind the head, coming back center. Inhale, exhale, take it to the other side. Maybe we release those arms and stay here. Maybe we take them down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Good. And when you're ready, inhale and lift. Exhale, come back to center. I'm going to take my thumbs inside my hands, and I'm just going to roll down. Good. When we get about halfway, I'm just going to pause there and take it in the opposite direction. So just to make sure we don't get, you can loosen up the wrist a little bit. You can release the thumbs. Good. Let's get into the shoulders a little bit here for that upper body work. So reaching long, just get some nice rotation. And then maybe taking palms up, hands to shoulders, move forward and back. Try to keep the rib cage in. So we don't want to pop the rib cage out. We don't want to kind of fold in. So use your core for that stability. You can stay here. You can take some circles. You can move in the opposite direction. Good, and just a little bit more warming here. Elbows out to the side, finding goalpost position, and we'll reach and take it down, and reach and down, and reach and down. Good. And move with that breath. Good. And then when you're ready, good. Just shake it, shake it, shake it. Get any little movement here that your body's asking you to do. That might be a little neck stretch, a neck roll, a spinal roll, some shoulder rolls here. Find what you need. And when you're ready, we're going to continue to warm up a little bit, moving into all fours. So this blanket can be nice if you need that knee cushion. For me, I'm just going to move it to the side because I don't need it right now. Good. So from tabletop position, spreading the fingers nice and wide, rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, the pointer, and the thumb. Elbows are turning in slightly. Shoulders are over the wrists or slightly behind them. Knees are under the hips or slightly behind them. If you're a little bit funny in that low back, maybe take them slightly wider than hip width apart. Big inhale, shine that heart forward, tip that pelvis back, nice cow pose. Exhale, really round, press away. Mad cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Inhale and exhale. Really round, round, round. And relax just for a moment. I'm going to take my knees as wide as the mat. They can be together or somewhere in between, and my arms are going to come forward into an extended child's pose. Maybe forehead comes to the ground, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to draw up still from the pubic bone behind the navel, finding expansion in the rib cage as I breathe. Good. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to lift, I'm going to look forward, I'm going to come forward. We're going to come into a plank pose. So some of you might take knees a little bit more behind you here. Some of you are going to lift into high plank. So find yours. We're still, I've still got my fingers spread wide. I'm still rooting through knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. I'm pressing back through the heels because I'm lifted. My belly button is in. I'm taking my heart up into the shoulders so my shoulders come back into their pockets. I'm breathing even though I'm holding this plank. And then when you're ready, lifting the knees if you have them grounded. Maybe step in a little bit here for a downward facing dog as I shift back. Good. And now from here, your first down dog. A couple things here. You can press in and forward into your mat. You're still rooting into the knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. Elbows are still turned inward slightly. Shoulders are in their pockets. Ears and biceps are in alignment, so head and neck are free. My belly button is in. Now, you'll notice my heels are grounded. It's taken me a long time to get there, but don't force yours. You can stay in stillness. You can walk the dog, bending one knee, lengthening one leg. So as you're here, whether in stillness or moving, I'm still engaging through the big toe and pinky toe mounds. Good. Some people like to come high on the toes and drop the heels down. That's fine too, or even a little bend in the knees and stretching long. Find yours. And then if you took some movement, find some stillness. And from this downward facing dog, inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk or step your feet forward to meet your hands. You can always come to those blocks. I'm going to come to the floor. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, flat spine, maybe a little bend in the knees. And exhale, and we'll bow. And we'll do that again. Big inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, flat spine. Exhale, and we'll bow. Inhale, root through the feet. Engage the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding your breath, your mountain, your intention. So mountain pose, remember when you're at ease, you can feel all four corners of the feet, maybe a lifting of the arches. Knees are a little soft and non-locked. Tailbone is relaxed, and so is the heart. Continuing to warm up. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage through the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, intention. Continuing to move. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, plant the hands. Step or hop back to your plank pose. Hold your plank for a moment once more. You're still warming up that upper body. Good. Those of you that are normal flowers, vinyasas, chaturangas, that's probably not even a word, but you know what I mean in there. You're welcome to shift forward slightly and without collapsing, lower belly down. Some of you like me are going to lower the knees first and without collapsing, lower belly down. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit here so that you can see what I do. So lengthening here, taking my hands a little forward and to the side. We're going to do a progression cobra to up dog here. So lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through the low body, drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Pubic bone is into your mat. Big inhale, exhale, maybe a little cobra. Good. If this feels okay, you can stay here. If not, come out. No crunching of the spine. Maybe we come up a little bit higher. Notice how my shoulders are in their pockets. They're not up here by my ears. And I'm not collapsing into the low back. So I'm still supported here. Okay, that feels okay. Maybe you can come higher. And if this feels okay and you're strong enough and you want to go to do it, you can come down just a little bit. I'm going to tuck my toes, taking my hands just a little bit further back, and then I'm going to find my upward facing dog. Good. So I do mine on the tops of my feet. You can also be on the toes. And then when you're ready, carefully lower out of the back bend that you chose. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Stronger, more experienced yogis, take the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes. You can push up into plank, shift back, down dog. Everyone else can follow me through a tabletop position, lifting the knees, finding your downward facing dog. Good. Finding your breath, finding your intention. And from downward facing dog, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, and we'll bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding your breath, your mountain, your intention. We're going to do a couple more sun salute A's, just a little bit more faster than that, but you go at your pace. Take any modifications that your body needs you to take. So from here, when you're ready, inhale and lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll bow. Inhale, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose. You can take the flow. You can skip it. You can work with me through a modification. Coming back from an injury. Don't want to do too much too fast. Good. Find your breath in your down dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, look forward, bend those knees, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. So my other arm is not kind of as pretty as the other one because I've got this wall here. I'm trying to remember to take my arms more forward. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose. Take or skip your flow. Any back bend of your choice. Remember, you can always practice plank. Drop to a child's pose, shift back to down dog. Those are all acceptable. Down dog and child's pose are available to you at any time as well if you need a break. Good, coming back to breath. And when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding breath, mountain, intention. Good. All right. So from here, we're going to use some good body mechanics, and we're going to come up and we're going to do some tricep presses here. So this one, you could use a heavier one, a weight, if you're really strong in the triceps for different purposes. Also note too, when we're doing stuff like that, where we're doing tricep work. So I've got my weights. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to take them to my heart and come up here. Good body mechanics as we move. You can always do one weight as well. So you can always power down on some of these as well as power up. So I happen to have both of my 2-pound weights here. So I'm using 4-pound weights total, and I'm just going to kind of fix them to where I can get them to fit securely in both hands. I'm going to take them up over my head. So I'm really reaching towards the ceiling. My biceps and my ears are close together here. I'm drawing up from the pubic bone behind the navel. I want a little bit of a softness in the knee. And from the elbows, I'm just going to bend, taking it straight back and really squeezing those triceps, taking it up. Good. Now I'm going to count down from 10 from here, but you stop where your body needs to stop. So here's 10. 9, 8, 7, elbows in, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good job. I'm going to carefully take those weights in front of my head. I'm just going to kind of undo them. I'm going to let them sit right here. We're going to use this lighter weight to kind of warm up the glutes and the legs a little bit here to prepare for some deeper work. So my feet are going to be about hip width apart here, parallel. So hips, knees, and toes are facing forward. I'm going to sit back into my chair pose. So even here, you should still be able to feel all 4 corners of the feet, the heel, lift up a little bit through the arch. Hips, knees, and toes are going to track. My belly button is in, so I'm lengthening a little bit here through the spine. I've got my weights at my chest. You can lose them at any time. And then from here, I'm breathing. Good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some little pulses here. Pulse, 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 pulse. Stand tall. Getting out of there for a moment. And then big inhale, exhale, sitting back into that chair, finding good form, finding that breath, drawing up and in, big, here we go. Here's pulse, 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 pulse. The moon, how here we're gonna hold. Good. I'm gonna let my weights come down to the side. Inhale, exhale as I fold forward. I'm just going to release my weights to the side, maybe getting a nice little hammy stretch here. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow, planting the hands, stepping or hopping back into plank pose. You choose, take or skip a flow. I'm going to skip this one, so I'm going to come into downward facing dog. Good, and let's open the hips just a little bit here on both sides before we come into down dog. So remember, you're still working on strengthening the upper body here in downward facing dog. There's a lot that goes on in this pose, and I believe myself personally, it's really underrated. But from here, right leg is going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. Let's open to the right, strong, even upper body, and close center. Open to the right, strong, even upper body, close center. Open to the right, strong, even upper body. Maybe we want to hang out here. Maybe we want to open a little bit deeper, so long as there's no funny business in the back. Maybe take some hip circles here. Maybe 3 in one direction and then 3 in the other. Good, and then I'm just going to take the hips back even to the mat and take that down. Good. Going right into the other side. Left leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. Opening to the left and close center. And we'll open to the left and close center. Strong, even upper body. Open to the left. You can stay here. You can open more. Maybe you want those 3 hip circles in one direction. And then the other. Good, and then from here, taking that foot down. Good, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage through the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, now notice how you feel. We're going to take that again, we're gonna add on. So full warrior 1. So, or sun salute B into warrior 1 is what I meant to say. Good. So find your good form. Big inhale, exhale, hinge and fold. Good. I'm going to sit back into the chair. This is going to be your choice, the lighter weights or the heavier ones. So I'm going to go for my heavier ones now. Good. I'm going to keep these to my side. I'm pressing into my heels. Good. And I'm sitting into my chair. And I'm drawing up and in. Good. So you're welcome to hang out right here. You can pulse. Pulse, 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 pulse. Stand up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back. Soft knees. Inhale. Exhale, sitting back into that chair, finding good form. And we pulse, 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 pulse. Good. You can be stationary, maybe adding some bicep curls here. Woo. Didn't see that one necessarily coming. Biceps are a larger muscle group. They can handle usually a little bit more weight. Now you can stay here stationary. You can add the pulse with that bicep curl if you'd like. Getting upper and lower body together. Stay with the breath. Stay with the belly button in. So heart rate will come up here when we're working upper and lower body together, doing a lot of alternating. Good. I'm going to release the bicep curl. I'm going to keep pulsing. I'm going to hold that pulse. Inhale, exhale, hinge and fold, releasing the weights for a moment. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow. Planting the hands, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose, take or skip or flow. I'm going to come back into down dog again. And I'm just going to kind of move, make sure I've got space for that right foot to come forward here. So right foot's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. I'm going to round. I'm going to step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. Okay, I'm going to warrior prep that back foot. Now, again, you can choose lighter weights or heavier weights. You choose. I'm going to go back to my lighter. You can also release those and use the blocks to help you for stability. Hip, knees, and toes are going to track. Press to that back edge of the back foot as you come up. Good. Maybe lengthen a little bit here if you need to reset yourself. So I need to be a little bit wider with my left foot. Good. So now I'm going to come back into my warrior one. Bending my elbows, taking arms up overhead. Good. So be mindful, front hip, front knee, front toes are tracking forward. I'm turning a little bit inward with that warrior prep with the back foot. My belly button is in. Good. I'm going to take these weights down to my shoulders as I lengthen my front leg. And then I'm going to press as I come in and take it down and press. And my core is nice and tight. And one more. Pause. I'm going to take the weights down. I'm going to take the weights to my heart. I'm pressing through the back foot. I'm keeping that core engaged as I take it down. I'm going to release the weights, plant my hands, swivel up the back foot, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip or flow. Noticing how one side of the body is feeling compared to the other. And when you're ready, left leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee, round, step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. Warrior prepping the back foot, take a wider stance if you need it. So from here, again, I'm going to grab my weight. For me, that's going to be 2 pounds again. I'm finding the stability. I'm finding my roots. And then I'm going to come back up here. Good. And then I'm just going to lengthen so I can reset my form. So front hip's going to come back hip's going to come forward slightly. Good. Going back into my warrior one. Arms to the shoulders, taking arms up. Good, and here we go with that same move. Watching that front knee and toe tracking. Good, I'm taking down and pressing up. And taking down and pressing up. And down and up and down and up. So remember, you can always take a component out of here. You can just stick with the lower body motion or just the upper. Both together does make it more challenging. I'm going to take my weights back to my shoulders, back to my heart, pressing back, hinging forward, taking my weights down, planting my hands, swiveling up the back foot, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip or flow. Maybe a child's pose would be appropriate here. And from your downward facing dog, inhale, look forward, bend those knees, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. We'll inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, roll bow. Inhale, root, engage and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding your breath, your mountain, your intention. Good. So I'm getting just a little bit glowy now. So I'm going to bring in my towel. Feel free to take that break if you need it. Good. Okay, from here, when we're ready, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose, take or skip a flow. And once you've made it all the way down to your downward facing dog, we're gonna look forward. We're gonna place our knees to the ground. And then I'm just gonna make my way down onto my belly here. So I'm gonna move my blocks out of the way. Good. I'm just gonna kind of move them to the side here for now. Good. So we're gonna go back into some upper body work and back work. So I'm gonna come back to my lighter weights. I'm gonna take those weights in front of me. My palms are facing down. Okay. So I'm drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm really lengthening through that low body. Belly button is into the spine. Pubic bone is into the mat. Good. As I lift my upper body into a back bend, I'm going to think about lifting just the right and lower and left and lower. Now notice if it's harder for you on one side than the other. Good. And I'm using my core to keep me from rocking from side to side here. So you still want that engagement. You can take your legs a little bit wider to help with stability if you need that. Relax the shoulders. Good, one more time each side. Good, now we'll come down. Wiggle, wiggle. If that was enough of a challenge for you, you're free to do a few more of those. If you want to kind of what I call double time, we'll lift both arms and weights together. So lengthening here, we're reaching long, maybe a little micro bend in the elbows. Belly button is in nice and tight. Good, I'm gonna lift my upper body. Now I'm gonna lift my weights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could you hold? Whew. And lower down. And we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. We're going to take that up a notch with those triceps again. So keeping with the lower weights, now I'm going to take my hands back by my hips. My palms and the weights are facing the ceiling now. So drawing up and in, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. I'm going to lift my upper body again. And now I'm going to try one at a time. Right and left. And right and left. Right, left. One more time. Right and left. Taking that down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Stay with the alternating or take both up with me. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Lifting the upper body, rolling shoulders back, both arms together. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to that strong intention. This is 7 and 8. Pause here. Maybe little pulses in towards the tailbone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reach long, taking it down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. So I'm going to be mindful in my movement as I take my weights back forward. I'm just going to reset my blocks here a little bit while I'm down here. Good. Hands under the shoulders, press back, child's pose. So you went into a little bit of extension here when we were doing that upper body work. We'll counter that with some flexion. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, inhale, moving forward. Now you're in your tabletop position. We're going to find downward facing dog. So maybe hands come a little bit more in front of you, tucking those toes, lift and shift. Coming back to that Ujjayi Pranayama, that intention of strength, strong body, strong breath, strong practice. And then when we're ready, inhale, look forward, bending those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage to those glutes, rise. And exhale, hands to heart center, finding breath. Mountain, intention. Good. Okay, so before we go into a little bit more warrior work, we're going to come into a balance challenge, which also includes warrior 3. So I'm going to show this to you. This is going to be a moving balance. It's kind of like a single leg deadlift, if you want to think about it that way. So you can also do this without the weights. So I will move my blocks in here just to give you an idea. So I'm just going to demo here my left leg. Hips are forward, so sternum and shoulders are forward. This toe is back. Arms here, because I don't have any weights, can be anywhere you want them to be. So I'm drawing up and in. I'm taking it back. Hips, knee, toes are facing the floor. I'm not turning outward. I'm pressing into that heel. I'm trying to be lifted out of that hip. Hands can always come to blocks if you need to, and then you'll come back up. Okay, so that's a no weight option. Some of you are going to use lighter weights, and you can always use one weight here as well. And if you're never really done this before, I would recommend 1 before 2. So you can take any weight here. Just make sure that you're kind of holding it where you're stable and don't drop it on your foot. So what single weight might look like that. You're squeezing that glute when you come back up. I'm going to use a heavier weight here, and I'm going to use both of mine. And I'm going to let my weights just hang to the side here. Good. So coming back, we'll all do this one. So no weight, 1 weight or 2 weight, you choose. Big inhale, hips are squared off. Exhale. Good. So remember that left foot, knee and hip are facing forward. I'm trying to get out of that hip, and I'm coming back up. I'm squeezing that left glute. And here's 2. And 3. And 4. Belly button stays in. Last one, here's 5. Good, and taking that foot down. Good, so we're gonna take that right into the other side now. So right foot's gonna come forward. Good, make any weight adjustments here that you feel like you need. So hip, knee, and toe on that right side's coming forward. My hips are squared forward. And whenever you're ready, inhale, whew, take it down. Inhale, exhale, get into that heel and press it up. And here comes 2. Good, and here comes 3. Maybe we can smile. Where do you find your strength? Yes, we're building strength with this resistance, but where do you find that inner strength to keep going? Can you tap into that right now? Whew, this is my weaker side. I'm getting a little bit more wobbly. I think that was 5. And when you're ready, we'll come back up here. Whew, I'm just gonna march, march, march. I'm gonna keep these heavier weights going into some core work here. You're also welcome to move down to 1. Take your lighter weights as well. So from here, I'm gonna take my weights right at chest level. I'm gonna take my feet out hip width apart here. Excuse me. Take my feet hip width apart here. Good, nice and soft knees. And then from here, trying to keep the hips forward, I'm just gonna rotate and rotate and rotate and rotate. So I'm having you keep your hips forward because that gets more into the torso, which is what we want. So I don't kind of want this motion here. Really try to keep the hips forward. A little bit more core work. Good. Good. And coming back. Taking the weights down. We're going to go into some side bends here. So I'm going to set my feet in just a little bit more closer. I'm nice and tall. I'm going to take my side bend over to the left. And I'm really pressing and squeezing as I take it back up through center, going right into the other side. Good, here's 2. Going into 3. Belly button stays in, stay with the breath. Here's 4. And 5. We are going to go for 6 here, or try to, and last one, number 6. Whew. And come back in. Good. Weights to the chest, move forward, feet hip width apart, big inhale. Exhale, bend as you take these weights back down and release. I'm going to recommend having your lighter weights handy here. We're going to take the hands down. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, plant the hands, step or hop back into plank pose. You choose, take or skip your flow. I'll just do a real quick modified one here. Good. From the downward facing dog, when you're ready, we're going to go to the left side. So left leg lifts 3-point, bending that knee, round, step, or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. We're going to warrior prep that back foot, heel to heel, heel to arch, or a little bit wider. Now, while I'm down here, I'm going to pick up my lighter weights. I'm really getting into the heel. I want to find that stability. I'm going to bring my weights to my chest as I come up. Good. I'm going to rotate to the side. Good. And I'm going to take my arms to the side. Good. So my palms are facing up now. Good. And I'm just going to kind of fix that lower body here just a little bit. So my front hip's going to come back just a smidge. Back hip's going to come forward. I'm pressing through the back edge of the back foot. Good. Now, I'm just going to lengthen and come into the bend here. This is your lower body option. Staying here with a little micro bend in the elbows, you're still working. But maybe you want to add a bicep curl here. So we curl and lengthen. Good. And we'll hold. Inhale. Exhale. Curl. Take it into the chest. Good. Lengthen the body. We're going to come into a Prasarita fold here. So I'm just turning in that foot. Good. So I'm making sure my feet are parallel to the edges of my mat and my big toes are in alignment here. And keeping soft through the knees, drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel. And I'm going to hinge and take this down. Good. So just getting a little stretchy. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And I'm going to put a bend in my knees. I'm going to take those weights back to my chest, coming all the way up. Good. From here, that left foot is going to turn forward. My right foot's going to turn inward. So I'm back into my warrior stance, taking my arms out to the side, taking my arms out. Good. Finding your warrior 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lengthen. We're going to take those arms forward and come back. And forward and left. And together and open. Together and open. Curl those biceps, bring those elbows down. We're going to change our alignment and rotation of the shoulder a little bit here. So now, when I take my arms out, my palms are going to face downward, and then we'll take it forward. So just a little bit different. And forward, and open, and forward, and open, and forward, and open. Pause. Good. I'm going to bring the elbows in, taking weights to my chest, rotating towards the front, swiveling up that back foot. I'm going to hinge forward as I take my weights down, planting the hands, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip a flow. Now taking a moment to see how you feel. Good. Now while you're in your downward facing dog, I'm going to come out of mine and I am going to move my weights to the other side so I can do the other side. So I can face you when we do that other side. Good. So from your downward facing dog, right leg's going to lift 3-point now, bending that knee. Round, step, or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. Warrior prep the back foot, heel to heel, heel to arch, or a little bit wider. I'm going to grab my weights now. I'm drawing up and in. I'm bringing them to the chest. I'm going to come up. Good. I'm going to open, and I'm going to reset my lower body form. So I'm in a different alignment for my lower body on this side than the other side, and that's okay. But think about front hip coming back hip coming forward just a little bit here. Hip, knee, and toe are tracking. Good. Taking the arms out to the side. Palms are facing the ceiling. Good. So you can get that lengthen and bend. Just watch the knee tracking, and maybe you want to add a second set of bicep curls with that. Good. And then when you're ready, take it out, pause. Remember, you can always just hang out here. And then with palms facing the ceiling, you're going to take it forward and open, and forward and open, and forward and open, and forward and open. One more. Good. Bicep curl, taking it into the chest. Readjust. I slid just a little bit, so I'm going to make a little bit of adjustment with my low body here. Good. So getting my hips back in order. Front hip will come back slightly. Back hip will come forward. I'm going to open my chest back to the front. Now we're going to try that different alignment. So the palms are going to face downward. So I'm going to take it out. Palms are facing down. I'm going to lengthen as I take it forward and come back. And forward and warrior two. And forward and warrior two. Forward, warrior two. Forward, warrior two. Bring it back in. Good. I'm going to lengthen. I'm going to take this foot in because I forgot to put that in here. So we'll do that right now. The second set of Prasarita. So making sure you are pressed and even with the feet, with the toes. Big inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold. Taking the weights down when you're ready. Breathe and expand. Putting a little bend in the knees, picking up those weights, taking those weights back to the chest as you press up. Good. Finding that warrior two again. Good. I'm going to swivel up the back foot. A little bit of a balance challenge for me on this side. Weights stay at the chest as I hinge forward, taking those weights down, planting the hands, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip that flow. And while you're doing that, I am going to turn back around to the other side of my mat, taking my weights with me. Good. So keeping the weights on the floor, we're going to come into a little bit of a hip opener here, just giving a little bit of a break of the weights. So I'm going to take my left leg back, 3-point, bending that knee. I'm going to step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. I'm going to let that right foot slide back, grounding down that right knee. Make sure that that knee is under the hip. Sorry, make sure that knee is behind the hip. So just kind of slide it back there. You can put a blanket under the knee, and then you're going to choose. Are you just going to stay here? Are you going to press the right hand down to the floor to a block, opening to the left? Or are you going to come up and set yourself for a moment, taking hands to prayer, and then taking that prayer twist to the left? Staying with the breath, come back to that intention. Inhale, exhale. We're going to take the hands down to the floor. You're welcome to bring in blocks here if you want to or not, and I'm just going to hinge back. I want my hip to be over the knee now. In this one, I'm going to slide this front heel forward, keeping some softness in this knee. I'm going to lengthen that torso as I fold in a little bit deeper. Front hip will come back hip will come forward. Good. Coming out of there. Good. Coming back forward. Good. I am just going to walk my hands up. And maybe I just take a little bit of a twisty here, opening that right shoulder, looking over to the right. As I do that, I'm getting into that right hip flexor. So my hip is no longer over that knee. I've moved back forward. Inhale. Exhale, taking the hands down. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, front foot steps back. You choose take or skip a flow. Noticing again how one side feels compared to the other. And when you're ready, right leg's gonna lift 3-point this time, bending the knee, step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. Let that left knee travel back, coming down. You can always put a cushion there. Good. And then from here, you're going to choose where you want to be. Maybe left hand comes to the floor to a block, opening to the right. Maybe you want to come up a little bit here to set yourself up for prayer twist, hinging forward, taking that twist to the right. Think about really opening that right shoulder. Coming back to intention. And when you're ready, coming out of your twist, taking hands down. Good. Going into that half Hanuman, that half split pose. I'm going to come back. My hip is going to be over my knee. I'm letting that right heel slide forward. I'm going to keep some softness in that right knee. I'm lengthening. You can be on blocks or the floor. Find yours and maybe hinge a little bit more. And then from here, coming back up, I'm going to bring that foot back in. I'm going to take my blocks back forward here, setting up. Good. So I'm just going to let my body sink into that left hip flexor now. I'm going to take the left hand behind. I'm going to open to the left, opening, taking that left shoulder back. Inhale, exhale, coming back center, planting the hands, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip a flow. And once you've completed the flow, we're going to come to a nice juicy child's pose here. So knees can be together as wide as the mat, somewhere in between. You're welcome to take your arms long in front of you. If you don't like that, you can come into traditional child's pose, taking hands back by the ankles, letting shoulders release. So find yours. Fine. So keep the expansion in the rib cage, but it's okay to let other engagements go here. Let it be a little bit more relaxing. And then from here, when you're ready, we're going to come up. Good. I'm going to cross my ankles and I'm going to find a seat. Good. So from here, I'm going to make sure now that because when I lie back here, my head's going to be at this end. So now I'm going to take my weights to that end because I never really know what type I'm going to need for what. I'm just going to take them both back there. I'm just going to kind of put these blocks to the side. Unless you're using your blocks, you can bring them back in. So let's come to a little bit of a forward fold here first. Legs can be together. I've got mine about hip width apart. That's what my body needs today. And I'm going to come to an anterior tilt of the pelvis as well. So my hip bones are rocking forward, my tailbone's going back. I'm still drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm in a nice tall sit. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Now I'm hinging forward here before I let my body fall down or sink in. While I'm down here, I might grab that trusty hand towel and just kind of do a little dab. And inhale, look forward. Exhale, carefully coming back up. Good. So from here, we're going to go to a boat pose. And so remember, for this boat pose, you can always do this without weights. So I'll give you a few no weight options. You can have your hands behind you for support. Good. So you want to be nice and long with the spine. We don't want to rock back and then just kind of be lazy back here. You want that core engagement. So you can be here. You can be here. You can be a little bit lower. You can even play with some movement here if you want to. So that's option one. You can do no hands boat, or no hands behind you boat. Maybe I should say that, which is this one. or this one, you can release. Okay, those of you that want to add a little bit of a weight challenge here, you can, I'm going to recommend just one. So I'm grabbing one heavy weight. You can also grab one light weight. Good. So I'm just going to hold this right here, right at my chest. I'm going to take this back and I'm going to come into my boat. And I'm going to keep this as a more gentle boat. And I'm drawing up from the pubic bone behind the navel and I'm still breathing. This might be enough for you. Maybe you want to take a little bit of rotation here with that weight. So long spine if you're rotating. Rotate with your breath. Maybe one more to each side. And then feet come down, coming forward. I'm going to release that weight and I'm going to fold my whole body forward. Good. Now from here, while we're here, I'm just going to come to another comfortable seat. We're going to take this opportunity to stretch out the upper body just a little bit more here before we come onto our backs. And we might do another little chest exercise while we're on our backs here, but this will still feel good. So I'm going to take the strap. I've kind of folded it in half, starting between the pointer and the thumb. And I'm going to take this up. I'm going to take it a little bit behind me. I'm just kind of finding that nice stretch. And I'm pulling on that strap. I'm going to take it forward. And then I'm going to come just a little bit wider, maybe towards the end of my strap, taking it up again, maybe coming back just a little bit more. I'm breathing and expanding. I'm trying not to pop that chest out. And taking it back down. Good. I'm going to release half of that. I'm going to take this hand down to the side. I'm going to choke up on this side. Good. So now I've got this nice strap here, and I'm just going to use it to open and pull and round. And open and tug and pull and round. And tug and pull, and you can always, adjust where you need to grip. So I'm going to hold this one open. I'm going to kind of choke up on this end just a little bit more. And I'm going to kind of take it back. Just kind of open. And maybe taking it up and reaching here. Good. And we'll take that right into the other side. So I'm just going to hold on. I'm going to take it over. Adjust your grip where you need for the other side. Good. And I'm just going to open and take it a little bit rounding. This feels nice to the back too. And hold it open and a little bit rounding. Good. And we'll open. I'm going to just hold this one open a little bit here. Good. Taking it back, get that little round. And coming up. Good. So because I'm closer to my wall, I'm going to sit facing this way to do this next one. So this next one, and I'm going to come a little bit out to the side. Take a wider grip on your strap. You want to keep the arms long here, but I'm going to take it up. If your elbows are bending, you need a wider grip on your strap, your belt, whatever it is you're using, and find your sweet spot, which may or may not be the top of the hips. And if you want to move forward and back a few times here, feel free to do that as well. Just getting into some nice stretchies. Good, one more time. And taking it back, good. So have this close. We're gonna come onto our backs now. I'm gonna undo this ponytail. Good. So you can use lighter weights or heavier weights. If you're more experienced in resistance, you can certainly do the heavier ones. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use my lighter ones. So just kind of have those weights to your side. So my palm is going to be down. Good. I'm rolling my shoulders back. I'm going to prepare to bridge. So hips, knees, and toes are going to track here, drawing up and in. I'm pressing equally into both feet and both hips. And I'm kind of pressing into those weights a little bit as I lift. You should feel a little bit more shoulder engagement when you do that with the weights. And take that back down. We'll do that again. We'll press and lift. and taking that back down. Good. If that feels good to you, you want to keep doing those, that's fine. Those of you that want to add a little bit more weight to the glutes, take your weights, put them right at the bends of the hip creases here, or maybe just a little bit longer. So for me, it's a little bit longer because I'm reaching long with my arms. Drawing up and in, big inhale, I'm squeezing the glutes as I lift and lower. And lift and lower and lift and lower. Squeeze and lift and lower. One more. Squeeze and lift, lift, lift. Good. Lower halfway, squeeze. Halfway, squeeze. Halfway, squeeze. Halfway, squeeze. Halfway, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And lower that down. Good. Just setting those weights to the side. Bring those knees into the chest and we'll rock, 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 side to side. Coming back to that intention of strength. Good. We're going to do one more upper body stretch here, one more core work, and then we're going to prepare for Shavasana. So for me, I'm just going to carefully kind of roll to one side and the other, just kind of carefully picking up. Good. So now I've got my weights here. I'm using my heavier weights here, but you can certainly use no weights or the lighter weights. Good. I'm going to take my elbows out to the side. So I'm kind of thinking about the goalpost again. My palms are facing forward. They're facing towards my feet. And then from here, I'm drawing up and in. My rib cage is down, and I'm going to bring it up and take it down. Maybe a little bit of a hover and take it up and take it down. And notice if you've got one side that kind of wants to go a little bit ahead of the other. I do. I'm trying to find that balance. Good. Now, if you like the palms facing towards the feet, you can keep that. Otherwise, I'm going to turn my palms toward each other, and I'm going to take it down and take it up. So same exercise, just a little bit of a different rotation. Slightly different in the muscles. Good. So I'm coming down in a hover. You can tap, but don't just collapse into the floor. Stay engaged. Bring that strength back in. Bring in that breath. And then from here, I'm just going to bring those elbows down. And I'm going to carefully take those weights to the side. Good. And I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'm going to take my hands up to, or not my hands, but my feet up towards the ceiling. Good. And I'm just going to point and flex through my feet while I'm here, twirling those ankles in one direction and then in the other. Good. You can keep these feet pointed, or you can put them in flexion. We're going to opposite reach, opposite hand, opposite foot. We're going to try to go for 20 counts. So it's going to be 10 to each side. So from here, drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Big inhale, exhale, inhale. Whew. Keep going. Stay with the breath. When you've done about 10 to each side, or 20 count total, I'm a horrible counter. I've already lost my count. I'm just going to do a few more here for good measure. And then when you're ready, taking that down, taking the knees down, and rock, rock side to side. Gently take head and neck from side to side. All right. So coming into our final stretch and twist, I'm just going to kind of roll over to my side. I'm going to make sure that my weights and everything are out of my way. Another benefit to not having weights that are too heavy is that you can easily move things around. Okay, so I'm just going to come out just a little bit here from my wall. I'm grabbing my strap. Good. And I'm going to start with the strap around the left foot. Good. And you can find whatever grip fits you, suits you here. Right knee can be bent, or you can extend that leg long and strong. It's going to be your choice. But I'm going to let that hip settle into its pocket. And then I'm going to bring it back and get a nice final hamstring stretch here. As you do so, keep softness in this left knee. And then we'll release. I'm going to take both straps into the left hand. I'm going to open this leg only as wide as my left shoulder, and then I'm going to tug in towards that left shoulder. My belly button is in tight here. Good, and release. My right leg's going to come long. I'm going to take both straps from the right hand. From here, you have options. You can arc that leg over with a long leg or a bend in the knee. You might have to move that leg around a little bit here to find your sweet spot. Or you can take that leg all the way over into a twisty, keeping the leg in line with the hip. Left shoulder stays grounded, maybe looking to the left. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that back up. Good. And we'll just do a midair switcheroo. So I'm just going to switch out with that right foot. Right or left knee can be bent, or that leg can be extended long. Good. Find a grip that's supportive of you and where you are. Let that hip sink down into its pocket. And when you're ready, find that hammy stretch. Keep that little knee soft. And we'll release. Good. Both straps into the right hand. Take that right leg out only as wide as the right shoulder. And now you're going to tug in towards the right shoulder. I'm still breathing. So coming back to that intention. And when you're ready, we'll release. Both straps will come into that left hand now. Left leg's going to go long. So remember your options. You can arc that leg over the body, keeping the leg straight or bent. You might have to move that leg around to find your sweet spot. Otherwise, you can take that leg over, keeping that leg in line with the hip. Try not to let it flop on the floor. Right shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the right. Breathe and expand that rib cage. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that leg back into center. Good. Carefully remove that strap. Good. And we're going to come into our Shavasana here, our relaxation time. So you can let everything come long, flop open. You can put a bend in the knees, which is what I personally like to do. If you're at home and you've got the props, you can put pillows, blankets, what have you, under the legs, releasing the low back. You can bring in a neck roll here. It's really whatever makes you comfortable. Lying on your side or the belly is also an option. And I'll leave you here for a few moments. Once you feel like you are where you're going to be, see if you can make yourself 10% more comfortable from there. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or maybe taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body lower or maybe lift it into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way if you use them for your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Taking a moment to pause and reflect, maybe this different kind of practice for you. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe the same one you started with, maybe a different one. So I'm going to bring my blanket back in here. Good. And then finding that nice tall sit, ears, shoulders, and hips. Draw up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Slight tuck in the chin, knowing how do you feel now versus when you started. Hopefully a little bit stronger, a little bit more open. Maybe a little tired, that's okay too. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen nice and tall, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Connecting with that intention of strength or your own that you chose at the beginning of class. One more time. We'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you be stronger. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope to do a yoga with weights class more often as a special treat. There's so many things you can do with the weights and in these poses. So I hope you enjoyed and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.